Hello, my beautiful people. This is ERGJ, your conspiracy brother, or ERGJ TV. Today, we're going to be going into the propaganda machine to talk about why Michael Jordan can't stay silent. We'll hop right into, again, propaganda itself. It is basically anything the government can use against American citizens. It's legal for the government to lie to the American citizens. In 2012, 2013, a law was passed that made it legal. And what they do is the intention is to sway public opinion, by using television, radio, newspapers, social media, targeting American informed people in controlled psyops, controlled or staged scripted events. And today we're going to be talking about Michael Jordan, who actually came out with a statement yesterday, and he also made some donations, which is great. And so we're going to really get into propaganda, what's really behind this, what does all this really mean? Because Michael Jordan really hadn't spoke out about any social issues in probably over 7 years. So let's kind of see what Michael Jordan say. This article is on the undefeated.com. Michael Jordan, I can no longer stay silent. His statements on the shootings of African Americans that are targeting police officers. So let me make sure you guys can see this. You know, it might be a little small. See, make sure you guys can see that. So here is Michael Jordan's official statement. I understand that these statements are written by publicists, so it may not necessarily be all of his real words, but this is what was positioned out to the public. And you also got to ask yourself, why is this in the mainstream news? It's still in, still a top story in CNN. Why is this such a mainstream news when somebody makes a donation? I'm pretty sure that rich people make donations all the time. Maybe they don't always make a statement, and then obviously Michael Jordan is one of the, is the richest black man in the world, in the United States. So that may have something to do with it as well. But I always ask myself, why is this even in the news? Why does this even make news at such a time as this? But obviously we have some racial unrest or some civil unrest as it relates to Black Lives Matter versus Blue Lives Matter. And but there's some things behind why Michael Jordan will make this statement at this particular time. So let's read the statement. It says, as a proud American, a father who lost his own dad in a senseless act of violence, and a black man, I've been deeply troubled by the deaths of African Americans at the hands of law enforcement and angered by the cowardly and hateful targeting and killing of police officers. I agree with the families who have lost loved ones, as I know their pain all too well. I was raised by parents who taught me to love and respect people regardless of their race or background, so I'm saddened and frustrated by the divisive rhetoric and racial tensions that seem to be getting worse as of late. I know this country is better than that, and I can no longer stay silent. We need to find solutions that ensure people of color receive fair and equal treatment, and that police officers who put their lives on the line every day to protect us all are respected and supported. Over the past 3 decades, I've seen up close the dedication of the law enforcement officers who protect me and my family. I have the greatest respect for their sacrifice and service. I also recognize that many people of color, their experiences with law enforcement have been different than mine. I have decided to speak out in the hope that we can come together as Americans and through peaceful dialogue and education achieve constructive change. To support that effort, I'm making contributions of $1 million to each of 2 organizations: the International Association of Chiefs of Police, newly established Institution of Community Police Relations, and the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. The Institute of Community Relations Policy and Oversight work is focused on building trust and promoting best practices in community policing. My donation to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, the nation's oldest civil rights law organization, will support its ongoing work in support of reforms that will build trust and respect between communities and law enforcement. Although I know these contributions alone are not enough to solve the problem, I hope the resources will help both organizations make a positive difference. We are privileged to live in the world's greatest country, a country that has provided my family and me the greatest opportunities. You'll hear this a lot, my family and me. Like, Jordan, it's still about you and your family. You guys have had the greatest opportunities. There's a reason why. We're not going to get into that today. But the problems we face didn't happen overnight, and they won't be solved tomorrow. But if we all work together, we can foster greater understanding, positive change, and create a more peaceful world around us, our children, our families, and our communities. So this is the official statement from Michael Jordan. That and he sent out some money to 2 different organizations, $1 million. Now you gotta understand, this $1 million is a donation, so it can be. It's nothing that costs him anything. It's something he can be right off on his taxes. It's just a drop in the bucket for a billionaire. It's a kind gesture though, that he sent some money to some organizations to do something. And for some reason, I think that when you're a celebrity or you may be somebody that's wealthy, it's almost like, hey, I cut a check, as if that check is enough. But here's the real reason why he's coming out now. This is on July 25th. If you know anything about Michael Jordan, he's the owner of the Charlotte Bobcats. This happened to be in North Carolina. So the NBA decided to pull the All-Star game, which was going to North Carolina, into Charlotte in that arena on July 22nd. That's 3 days ago. This pull out of North Carolina, because of this transgender law, it's going to cost North Carolina or the Charlotte area $100 million, roughly. This is how much money an All-Star game will bring to a city. Now, of course, if he's in Charlotte, he's from North Carolina. He's got a lot of things in that arena and around, probably in restaurants and apparel stores that he owns as well. So it's costing him, his team, money, his city money, but it's also costing him money. So it's a lot to do with cost, not necessarily a care. It has more to do with cost. We also see, along with the cost that may happen to the city of Charlotte, where he owns the Charlotte Bobcats, or whatever they call it now, the Charlotte basketball team. We also see that in June, there was an article came out why Nike shares have fallen. So the share price of Nike has fallen, but not been doing very well. We'll take a look at that in just a second. For the whole year, and the Jordan brand was something that really helped move the Nike, the Nike stock up. And if you think about, Jordan may not be associated with Nike anymore, but he probably still has stock in Nike. That would just be the smart thing to do. And we can look at SEC filings for that. But as we look at the Nike over the past 5 years, they have been on a steady incline as far as their share price is concerned. But if you just look at the past year, we can see that it's been down. It's rough for the whole year. It's been down. It hasn't moved the needle in a whole year. And if we look at, and this might be a little bit too dark for you guys or too light, but here's a 5-year chart of Nike having a steady incline and increase in stock value. And here's a 1-year chart where we see they haven't made any progress at all. So Nike has not been doing well. Prior to this statement that came out, the NBA cost Charlotte the city of Charlotte, roughly $100 million of economic growth coming into their city by pulling out the All-Star game. And then obviously you have the things going on with racial divide in the nation. And so Michael Jordan is putting himself in a position, probably, I would say more so he's probably put into this position by the powers that be that are over him, by his by the Nike brand corporation, to do something of goodwill. Typically, if you can do something of goodwill, you can get people to get back on your side, and then they will typically, once they feel good about you, the goodwill, they may start to shop with you again, buy from you again, listen to you again, or whatever the case may be. So don't think for one second that Michael Jordan just decided one day that, you know what, after 7 years of never talking about anything, never making any contribution to the plight of African Americans and police. Because if you think about it, this has been going on for quite some time. I would go all the way back to Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, Sandra Bland. There's been plenty of opportunity for Michael Jordan to contribute and to let his voice be heard. Now, some people say, hey, it's never too late. And it would be great if he actually did turn over a new leaf, if we see this a little bit more often. But I believe that Jordan has shown his true colors over time. He's all about himself. He's all about, greed, money, competition. He wants to be the best. And at this point, he wants to be known as, not only the greatest basketball player of all time, but it looks like he's looking to go for the goal of being the wealthiest African American and the greatest in that arena as well. It's this competitive drive. So it's more competition at this point than it is income. But when you're put in a position where your city, where your opportunity to grow your wealth of over $100 million is at jeopardy, and you're also losing on the back end with your positions in stock, I think he was put in a position to make a statement and put some money out to some places that may can help. But of course, to him, it's not losing anything because he can write that money off. So anyway, those are my thoughts on Michael Jordan. I can no longer stay silent. Yes, Michael Jordan, you did speak up, but we know why. So we're not deceived by you deciding to speak up this time. So this is a propaganda machine, guys. It's one of those situations where we just use our curiosity to look for truth. And as we find truth, guys, the truth is going to set us free.